What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's doing good today. If you're wondering about those two buys next to me, it's I kind of stored them in this truck. This is my truck. It's a Chevy Suburban. This truck's been broke down lately, so I've been kind of using this truck for a storage unit. I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to give myself a new truck. I'm not too sure at this point. I guess it depends. I don't really want to get rid of this truck because it's nice and roomy, but hey, if it's got to happen, it's got to happen, I guess. Maybe if that does happen, I'll keep this truck for a winter beater or something and have like another pickup truck or something. I don't know. Anyways, this isn't about trucks or, my property or whatever. But if you hear a noise in the background, for one, it's raining. And two, one of my neighbors has a generator running, which I don't know why he does, but I mean, it's whatever. But anyways, I wanted to make this video to address all sorts of bullshit that I've been hearing about the past 3 weeks or so now. So if I swear a bunch, or if it sounds like I'm getting angry, or if it sounds like I'm being super political, I apologize for that right now. At the end of the day, and I say this in all my videos, and I'll say it again, my life does not evolve around politics. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, a conservative, liberal, independent, libertarian, whatever. You treat me how you want to be treated, and we're not going to have any problems. If you treat me with respect, I will treat you with respect. If you are treating me disrespectfully, I'll try and be as respectful as possible, but you're probably not going to get the best answer out of me. I act that way because that's the way I was raised. Throughout my 23 years of life, I was taught how to respect people for what they are and what they're not. So with that said, so you guys have been hearing a lot about mass shootings lately. There was one that happened in Buffalo, New York about 3 weeks or so back. And then, recently there was a school shooting that happened in Uvalde, Texas. And then this past weekend, they were reporting a few other mass shootings. One of them at a bar, I guess. And I think they said Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll have to check again. To all those people that were affected by all those tragedies that have happened the past few weeks, my heart does go out to them. I am praying for all the family and friends of all the victims that have lost their lives in these mass shootings. It's pretty messed up. My heart does go out to them big time. It's really unfortunate. So with that said, I've been hearing all sorts of bullshit coming from people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, many other websites out there that a lot of people use. And yes, a lot of it comes from the left, of course. And again, I'm really not trying to make this a left versus right issue, but this is something that I gotta address. But I've been hearing a lot of people on the left politicizing these tragedies and weaponizing them as well, and using these tragedies as a reason why we need stronger gun laws or we need gun control, and people that own guns should feel guilty for this and that and all sorts of bullshit they come up with. It all comes down to, oh, well, you're not supposed to think like this or that. You have to think a certain way or else you're part of the problem. And then these people that like to politicize, weaponize, or use these tragedies as a reason to push their political agendas, they run around saying things like, oh, well, thoughts and prayers aren't going to do shit. You should do more than that. Like, what the fuck do you want them to do? What the fuck do you expect people to do? That's my question. How is it that it's okay for people to politicize, weaponize, or use these tragedies as a certain issue for a certain political party, but yet you're not allowed to say things like, oh, my thoughts and prayers do go out to these people. You know how fucking stupid that makes you sound? Not to jump on a bandwagon, but the reason a lot of people say that they're thinking and praying for these victims is because they actually have the heart to do that. Maybe thinking and praying for these victims won't do anything, but I can assure you that weaponizing these tragedies or politicizing these tragedies aren't going to do shit either. And if you guys want these mass shootings to stop, how come you guys aren't doing a damn thing about it? Do I want these mass shootings to stop as well? Absolutely. Do I wish these mass shootings didn't happen? Absolutely. I wish these mass shootings would quit happening. I say that, and I mean that 100%. But to all the people that sit there and say, oh, well, gun control would have prevented this, stronger gun laws would have prevented this. Let me tell you something right now. A lot of these mass shootings that happen in gun-free zones. In spots where you're not even allowed to have a gun. Do you really think a criminal is going to follow the rules if he or she wants to go and hurt or kill somebody? And for those that are saying things like, oh, gun control or stronger gun laws would have prevented that, explain to me how you think that would have. If you really think those things would have prevented those mass shootings, let's talk about Chicago here for a sec. Chicago is supposedly a gun-free city. You're basically not allowed to own a gun in Chicago. Yeah, look at the crime rates in Chicago. People are still killing people in Chicago each and every fucking day. There are hundreds of people, if not that, probably way more than that in Chicago, that are gunned down from bad guys with guns. And for those of you that are going to ask, well, where's the good guy with a gun? Like I said, it's Chicago. You're not allowed to own a gun. But look at all the criminals there. They think they don't have to follow the rules. They held on to their guns even though they're not supposed to have one. How they get guns? I don't know. Maybe somebody else from a different area handed it over to them. I guess think about that for a sec. Same thing with the people that like to cause these mass shootings. A lot of them are people that aren't even allowed to have guns, yet somehow they find a way to get a gun. And then another thing I want to rant about is those that like to bring race into the subject every frickin' time a mass shooting happens. I come across some videos on TikTok where, people out there are sitting there saying, oh, these mass shooters get arrested, they don't get shot or beat down or nothing bad happens to them. This is clear white privilege, blah, 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 blah. Really, dude? First and foremost, the dude that committed the Uvalde school shooting wasn't even a white guy. And second, there have been white mass shooters out there that have been gunned down. Do I think each and every mass shooter out there deserves to get shot and killed and possibly sent to hell? Absolutely. It's a shame that that doesn't happen with a lot of mass shooters out there, even though I wish it would happen. Now, look, I'm a God-fearing man, I don't like to sit there and wish death upon people. I don't like to sit there and say that, I hope somebody burns in hell for their actions, because that's not what I do, I'm a firm believer in God and Jesus, but I do believe there are some people out there that do need to go to hell, or they do deserve to die for their actions. Which, that brings me to another point here. So, why is it that every time a cop kills somebody and that person is not a good person, then all of a sudden, people go online and say things like, oh, it doesn't matter what type of thing that criminal did. Cops are not supposed to shoot or kill that person no matter what happens. Doesn't matter what their arrest records were or what they did, blah, 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 blah. But every time there's something bigger happens and people go on and say, well, this is clear white privilege. I don't know why that cop didn't shoot or kill that person, blah, 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 blah. Dude, let me tell you something. Either you are against cops hurting or killing somebody, or you're not. Don't get me wrong. Am I against cops hurting or killing somebody when it's not necessary to do so? Absolutely. And like I said, do I think a lot of these mass shooters deserve to be shot and killed for what they did? Absolutely. I'll say that right now. I will not hesitate to say that. I definitely agree that that should be the case. While we're talking about certain issues with cops, let's talk about cops and how people treat cops for a moment. A lot of the people out there that say that these cops should be hurting or killing these mass shooters, aren't some of you the same type of people that like to go around saying things like ACABs or all cops are bad, all cops are bastards or whatever, or say things like fuck the police, and then pretend that there are no good cops out there and that all cops deserve to die? Maybe that's not how all of them think, but each and every person that I've seen on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook saying that the cops should have hurt or killed these mass shooters, a lot of them are the same people that are posting all sorts of bullshit online about how cops need better training or cops need to work on making themselves better human beings, and then sit there saying things like, oh, police need to be defunded, all cops are racist, all cops are bad, blah, 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 blah. First off, where do you get that information from? CNN? The Young Turks? Any other liberal news media out there? Those of you that are going to sit there and say, well, maybe if other cops would speak out against this, maybe cops wouldn't be getting hated all the time. Oh, shut the fuck up. For the record, there are hundreds of thousands of cops out there that have spoke out against bad cops. Maybe if you would do your fucking research and watch what some of the good police officers out there have to say, you wouldn't be saying that at all. But even then, those cops still get screwed over because people online have become so anti-cop that, every time a cop does something, there's got to be at least one anti-cop idiot out there that thinks all cops are bad and sits there and is like, well, this cop shouldn't have done this cop shouldn't have done that. Man, fuck you. As much as I like to try and respect people for who they are and what they're not, there are certain types of people out there that I sure as hell cannot stand. The type of people that I sure as hell can't stand are people that let one bad person spoil the rest of the group and then assume that the entire group is a bad group. Just like with people who hate cops, one bad cop does something and all of a sudden it's all the other police officers' fault. I agree that there are cops out there that shouldn't be cops. Absolutely. Do I agree that there are cops out there that are horrible human beings? Absolutely. There are people out there that are strong supporter of police officers, just like me, if you can tell from my hat, that believe that there are certain people out there that shouldn't be cops. And then all because of how the cops were in Uvalde, Texas during the mass shooting, which I'll talk more about that here in just a sec. You got all sorts of people that are bashing cops 10 times more now, all because of how those cops in Uvalde, Texas responded to the situation. Do I think those cops could have done a little better? Absolutely. But I watched a video from Officer Tatum a couple days ago, and honestly, I didn't realize it until I watched this video, but to all the people that were saying the cops didn't do shit, you're wrong. There were cops there that actually did something. You know, they couldn't really shoot into the classrooms or shoot through the windows because they were afraid they were going to hurt or kill a student. And if I was a cop there and I had that same concern, I wouldn't be shooting through the windows either. But yeah, there were cops there that actually tried to do something. But like I said, you know, all because of how some of the other cops there acted, you know, cops are receiving twice as much criticism all because of that mass shooting. Hell, you even got certain conservatives out there, you know, like Heavy Duty Country, which I don't even follow that dude anymore. Because for one, you know, he's got a beef going on with Ryan Upchurch and everybody that still listens to Ryan Upchurch, which I listen to Ryan Upchurch all the time, but all because of some stupid rumor that Heavy Duty Country heard of. You know, he thinks everybody that listens to Upchurch is a pedophile, which again, you have no fucking proof that Ryan Upchurch is a pedophile. But this isn't about the whole Ryan Upchurch versus Heavy Duty Country beef. But a couple days or so before Officer Tatum put out that video, you know, talking about how the cops actually responded to the Uvalde, Texas situation. Heavy Duty Country put out a video talking about how all the cops in Uvalde, Texas need to turn in their badges and resign. Not to mention about, I think 7 or 8 months ago, Heavy Duty Country also put out a video talking about, you know, it was a live stream video or something like that, you know, talking about, well, he showed clips, you know, on, you know, some cops out there doing something that he didn't agree with, and he put out a video talking about how, you know, he named the video "Message to Our Police, Support is Not Always Guaranteed." And in that video, you know, he addressed some bad cops out there, which again, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't support bad cops. You know, I understand there are bad cops out there. But basically in that video, you know, Heavy Duty Country jumped on a bandwagon and, you know, kept talking about how, you know, police need to work on this, police need to work on that, blah, 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 you know, talking about how, you know, cops need to do better and all that shit. Basically told the cops that, you know, if they didn't want to do certain things or act a certain way, then they shouldn't even be cops. So let me get this straight. Just because of what some cops out there did, you're sitting there saying that all cops need to work on their ways now? I apologize if you guys heard that train. That was a loud one, I'll admit that. I live right by some railroad tracks. But Heavy Duty Country, you basically just contradicted yourself into the same bullshit. You showed some clips about, you know, bad cops doing certain things, and you're talking about how all cops need to work on their ways. You know, I'm sorry, but anybody out there that claims to be a conservative and you sit there and act like all cops need to work on their ways, you're basically no better than the people on the left that do the same shit. Now, kind of getting back to the mass shooting subject. So every now and then on this channel, I'll post a video that I come across on TikTok that comes from somebody else. And a lot of times if I agree with them, but I can't duet the video or stitch the video or anything, because either the video will be too long or whatever, or it just doesn't allow me to stitch or duet the video. A lot of times I'll post those videos to this channel and I'll give the people in the TikTok video credit for doing the video. About, I want to say, I think it was almost a week or so ago, I came across this video right here and I uploaded it to my YouTube channel.
The right is full of cowards, but the left is just full of sick people. People will go at great lengths to politicize and weaponize a tragedy. I want to address the leftists out there that think this is a gun problem. We've had guns here since the dawn of time, but only in the last 20 years have we had mass shootings. Every single year, it gets more difficult to get a rifle, but every single year we see more mass shootings. So please explain to me how this is a gun problem and not a mental health problem. And you sick bastards, the one that say, how many children need to die before you give up your Second Amendment? All of them. Is that what you want to hear? Is that the sound clip you're looking for so you can dunk on the right-wingers? Nobody's out to solve problems anymore. It's all about dunking on the political opposition. To the right-wingers out there saying maybe it is time for gun control. Here's a PSA for everybody that doesn't seem to quite understand the purpose of the Second Amendment. Second Amendment's not for hunting. It's not for the range. It's not for self-defense. Second Amendment is leverage against your government. It's a dead man switch. Purpose of the Second Amendment is to live free or die. To the lefties, oh, you think you stand a chance against the military? No, I don't. I'm not stupid. If push came to shove, an AR-15 is nothing compared to an F-35. If it really came down to it, the first Marine who was a decent shot would probably take me out. But the point is that they would have to take me out, that I will go down swinging. And most people are tired of saying that what happened is an absolute tragedy. When you hear the details of what actually happened in Texas, it's pretty tough to imagine. Even if I thought that abolishing the Second Amendment would somehow stop all school shootings, I still wouldn't do it because I'm not some emotional single-issue voter. You can't just look at single issues in a vacuum. You have to look at them with respect to everything else. You know, more kids die every year sniffing fentanyl than being shot by an AR-15, but you'll fight to keep that southern border open. More Americans die at the hands of illegal immigrants, but you'll fight to keep that southern border open. So are you really about saving lives, or is it just about disarming your political opposition? After JFK, we beefed up security for politicians. After 9/11, we beefed up security at airports. All these tragedies throughout history, and we beef up the security at the places where they occur. Except for schools. There are 380,000 unemployed veterans in the United States. Most of them are working age, but a lot of them have problems because they feel like they don't have a place in society. They don't feel like they have support, and they don't feel like they have a purpose. So maybe instead of sending $40 billion to fund a war on the other side of the world, we're spending more money so that children can learn about their teachers' kinks. We could instead put 2 veterans that are already well-trained in every school that would happily lay down their lives to protect those kids. To me, and for the people, and for the veterans, and for the children, that sounds like a win-win. And to all the fucking British people out there, we don't give a damn what you guys got going on in England. Not one single damn. You gave up your guns and the government hasn't turned on you? Wow, that's because you're a domino and we are the first domino. American right-wingers are the only thing keeping the entire world in check. Maybe you can discuss that over your next tea and biscuits. I forgot to mention all the people saying this is a Republican problem because they're all in the back pockets of the gun lobby. First of all, the gun lobby's broke. And second, all those people crying about the gun lobby won't say a word about what Big Pharma is doing to young people in America. So to all the anti-gun people, you're a liar and a coward and you don't actually care about children. And to the few real men left out there in Western society, stay hard.
So yeah, that's a video I came across from TikTok that I uploaded to this channel. You know, big props to Blue Collar Official on TikTok for stating the facts and giving his opinion on the issues that we're dealing with. If you guys want, I highly recommend following him on TikTok if you have a TikTok. And if you want to, feel free to follow my TikTok as well, which is Mike Star Made It 98. But yeah, like I said, you know, usually when I come across a TikTok video that I think is spot on and I can't duet the video or stitch the video or anything, I usually share the video to YouTube and I credit the people in the video. You know, I don't upload these videos just, you know, to steal them or anything. You know, I don't do that. You know, if I really wanted to do that, I wouldn't credit those people. But yeah, I'm not trying to steal those videos or anything. I share them because, you know, it's something I definitely agree with. I'm sure a lot of the people that watch my videos will probably agree as well. Basically, a lot of the things that Blue Collar Official on TikTok said, you know, it's definitely basically the same way I think as well. And some of the things he mentioned I haven't said yet, but I'm going to say them right now. Do I think we should hire in veterans and hire them as armed security guards in schools? Absolutely. You know, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to do that. Hell, if I was a veteran and, you know, I left the military and I got hired in to arm myself and protect these kids at schools, I'd do it gladly. As somebody that's got 11-year-old stepsister that's getting ready to go into middle school, and I'm also an uncle to 3 nieces and a nephew. My oldest niece, 8 years old. My 2 youngest nieces, 2. And my only nephew, 5. I would gladly walk into that school and do my job as protecting those kids. I'm not saying this to sound like an internet warrior or anything, but still, that's something I would gladly do if I got asked to do it if I was a veteran. Even if I wasn't a veteran, you know, I would still do that gladly. Another thing that blue collar official mentioned was that maybe instead of putting billions and billions and billions of dollars towards Ukraine, we should be taking that money and using it to help make our schools a lot safer, possibly help our emergency crews as well, like the police departments, paramedics, firefighters, maybe even help our own military as well. Look, I'm not saying we shouldn't help Ukraine. You know, I do feel for the people in Ukraine. It sucks that, you know, they're going through all sorts of drama right now. You know, I do feel for those people. You know, I've had friends and family that have been to Ukraine before, and they said it's not a bad place. But a lot of the people that are getting mad because Elon Musk bought Twitter for billions and billions of dollars, just remember Joe Biden sent billions and billions more to Ukraine. Not to mention, he left a shit ton of money worth of U.S. military equipment in Afghanistan for the Taliban to take over. Just remember that. So yeah, the next time you want to sit there and say that we need to make our schools better places, how about instead of saying we need stronger gun laws or gun control and that conservatives should feel guilty for these mass shootings, next time you should take it into consideration that the billions and billions of dollars that Biden is sending to Ukraine, maybe that money could be invested into making our schools better places. Maybe we could hire in armed security guards to protect these kids. And if you don't think that that's a good idea, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. And if you're still going to sit there and say that conservatives are a huge part of the problem for these mass shootings, and then sit there and say that we need gun control or stronger gun laws, you're a part of the problem, man. That's all there is to it. The thing is, we try to come up with better solutions on how we could prevent these mass shootings, but you guys don't want to go along with it, which is why these mass shootings keep happening. I'm not saying I want these mass shootings to happen. You know, I wish these mass shootings didn't happen. You know, and do I agree that each and every mass shooter deserves to get shot down or killed or face life in prison and possibly burn in hell? Yes, I definitely agree with that. Now, again, to all the family and friends of, you know, these victims that have lost their lives and all these mass shootings that we've been dealing with lately, my heart does go out to them. You know, I'm really sorry to hear about it. You know, it's messed up. It really is. I honestly think people need to just quit politicizing and weaponizing these tragedies and actually think about how we could prevent these. Again, I'm sorry if I sounded like I was being political. I really wasn't trying to. But a lot of these things are something that I just had to say. And I'm sure I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off for making this video. But you know what? I don't care. My opinions do not stop where feelings get hurt. That's all there is to it. But to all you anti-gun / gun control simps out there, and all you cop-hating simps out there as well, unless if you guys have a better solution, you need to just shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Oh, and one more thing before I put this video to an end. To everybody out there that's saying things like, oh, you know, this country is a horrible country. The United States of America is the worst country out there. How can you say that this country is the best country when we have these mass shootings out there? Well, if that's really how you feel, then you're free to leave this country. But let me tell you something. There are many other countries out there that have it way worse than we do. There are countries out there that have bigger tragedies out there that are way worse than the tragedies that happen here in the U.S. So if you think these mass shootings are the worst thing on this planet, go to some of the other countries that have it way worse than we do. And you'll know that these mass shootings that happen are nothing compared to what other countries deal with. I'm not saying these mass shootings aren't bad enough. I mean, trust me, I agree that they are bad. You know, like I said many times, I wish these mass shootings didn't happen. But like I said, there are many other countries out there that deal with way worse than we do. I'll say that right now. And to all the liberals out there that are saying things like, oh, you know, we've had more mass shootings than we have had days of the year. Unless if you're referring to Chicago, why don't you turn the damn TV off, man? Like, seriously. I mean, yes, I hear about mass shootings happening quite often, but I can assure you it's not a daily thing. Wherever the hell you got that information from, you're full of shit, and obviously you need a reality check. Just saying. Now that's all I have to say for this video. I'm sure I pissed a lot of people off for making this video, but hey, you know, whatever. I mean, I guess no matter what I say on this channel, somebody gets pissed off in my opinion. So you know what? That really doesn't surprise me, you know. And that ain't gonna stop me from voicing my opinion and posting these types of videos. So, you know, if you feel like you have something you want to say to me, well, I'd like to hear you say something in the comments then. If you respect what I'm saying, but you feel like you need to voice your opinion and you respectfully disagree with what I'm saying, then I'd like to hear your opinion then. If you respect my opinion, maybe I will respect yours. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with it. But to those that do respect and like what I'm saying, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel as well. You know, I don't really post on this channel all the time, you know, because I don't really talk about politics much anymore. But with that said, I hope everybody's having a great day, great night whenever you're watching this. And that's all I have to say. God bless y'all. God bless America. And y'all have a great day. Peace.